Welcome to the Realm Wars Network. The celestial Stormcast Eternals descend from the heavens like thunderbolts, their gleaming armor illuminating the battlefield. Meanwhile, the Lumineth Realm-lords form an unyielding bulwark of spears and magic against the storm. Get ready for an epic clash as these two forces collide in a battle for the ages. Two reinforced blocks of Wardens form the core of the Elfish phalanx, which is accompanied by flanking cavalry, a Ballista, and naturally Elfish magic, with two wizards on the field. The Light of Eltharion stands out as the excellent duelist that he is. Sigmar's Chosen bring a combined arms approach, with Annihilators, Questers, and the Celestant Prime ready to drop from the heavens to charge into combat, and a shooting detachment with Raptors and Tempesters to rain crossbolts on Teclis' creations. The infantry will try to score objectives, as the two remaining leaders are there mostly for moral support. The battle plan is limited resources, where the consecutive control of objectives is limited. The Stormcast deploy only a token force on the field, with vanquishers that are screening the heroes and the Aetherwings. The main threats remain in the sky. Both armies gain heroic leadership. No primal dice are generated this turn. The battle tactic is magical dominance. The Lord Imperatant is outside of unbinding range and casts Mystic Shield and completes the battle tactic. Vanquishers use at the double to rush an objective in the center. At the end of the movement phase, the Stormcast hammers drop from the sky. The long strikes set up in the lower left corner to provide fire support from a safe distance. The Annihilators use Guided by Lighting to drop only 7 inches away from the Elfish frontline. Blazing Impact kills a Dawnrider. The Tempesters shoot the Dawnriders, who use heightened reflexes and all-out defensive. The Calligrave uses Absorb Despair to reduce the bravery of the central vanquishers. Despite their fully buffed defense, the Dawnriders succumb to the Tempesters' crossbolts. The long strikes shoot the Lord Regent, who barely survives on 1 wound. The Annihilators aim to charge and take out the Lord Regent, as well as putting a sizable dent into the Wardens in front of them. The Grandhammers attempt their 7-inch charge, but fail their charge roll. Luckily, Blazing Impact allows them to re-roll the charge, but they fail to go. The Stormcast complete their battle tactic and score 5 points. Annihilators do what they always do, at least in 17% of cases, and fail their crucial charge to turn the flank in Sigmar's favour. With both the Lord Regent and the Wardens alive, the Stormcast hammers will need luck to survive. The battle tactic is blind the enemy. 2 primal dice are generated, and the Lumineth gain an additional one from their Acolytes battalion. The Lord Regent uses heroic recovery and heals 3 wounds. The Knight Incantor shows heroic leadership. The Lord Regent casts greater power of Hysh on himself and the Bladelords. The Wardens use a primal dice to cast Power of Hysh, but get unbound. The Enlightener casts Mystic Shield on the Wardens. The Calligrave casts Protection of Hysh and Overwhelming Heat on a unit of Vanquishers. The other Wardens cast Power of Hysh. The Enlightener attempts to cast the Jaws with 2 primal dice, but is unbound with 2 primal dice as well. The Enlightener casts the Gravetide, which deals 2 mortal wounds in total. The Annihilators redeploy 4 inches to try and screen out the Wardens from the Tempesters. The Windchargers shoot the Vanquishers in front of them and take one down. The Ballista deals 3 damage to the Tempesters. The Bladelords charge the Grandhammers as well as the Etherwings. The Wardens charge 7 inches, which is not enough to charge the Tempesters directly, but it is enough to charge the Grandhammers and then pile into the Tempesters from there. The Tempesters unleash hell and take out 4 Wardens. The Lord Regent charges the Tempesters directly. The Realmlords get to activate 2 units first in combat. The Wardens deal 3 wounds to the Tempesters, who used all-out defense, and deal 3 wounds to the Grandhammers as well. The Lord Regent takes down another Tempester. The 2 remaining Grandhammers target the Bladelords, who use their Aether Quartz and all-out defense. 2 elves take a hammer to the face. Two Etherwings and 1 Annihilator die to the Bladelords' attacks. The Tempesters deal 2 damage to the Lord Regent, who is down to 2 wounds again. The Lumineth Realm-lords complete their battle tactic and score 5 points. The Elfish general is not happy with their progress. The Lumineth had a chance to take out the Grandhammers and the Tempesters, but only managed to get both units to half strength. That could have gone better. The right flank looks very promising, though, with only a few Stormcast in the way to keep them from scoring objectives here. The Stormcast win the roll off for the initiative and take the turn. The battle tactic is bait and trap. Both armies gain heroic leadership. 1 primal dice is generated for the Stormcast and 2 for the Realmlords. The Knight Incantor fails to cast Mystic Shield. The Lord Imperatant dispels the Gravetide. The lone Etherwing and the Tempesters retreat. Dropping from the sky, the Questa Soulsworn take a position in the center of the field, while the Celestant Prime arrives to threaten the elfish backline. The Prime's Comet Strike Scepter kills the Lord Regent and a single Warden. The Raptors shoot the Bladelords and kill 3 of them. The Questers charge the Bladelords and the Enlightener. The Celestant Prime uses Celestial Fates to charge 12 inches. The Vanquishers charge the Windchargers. The Questers kill 3 Bladelords who use all-out defense. The Bladelords then attack the single Annihilator but deal no damage. The Windcharger pile away from the Vanquishers. The Mage and the Ballista attack the Prime but deal no damage. The last Grandhammer attacks the Bladelords as well and takes them out. The Celestant Prime swings Sigmar's hammer with all-out attack at the Calligrave, but deals only.
Emotional damage!
The Wardens activate next and kill the last bird and the Annihilator. The Vanquishers pile in, but stay outside the range of the Wardens and deal 5 damage. The Stormcast complete their battle tactic and score 4 points. The second wave of the Stormcast forces arrive, which means that all pieces are on the table. While the Questers manage to clear out the Bladelords, the Celestant Prime finally puts down the Lord Regent, with a timely comet dropped on his head, but he fails miserably to hurt the Calligrave. This means that both of the Lumineth main mages are still alive, and they already have primal dice stored up. The battle tactic is to conserve Ether Quartz. Both armies get 1 additional primal dice. The Enlightener shows heroic leadership. It is the finest hour for the Prime. The Knight Incantor uses his Voidstorm scroll to unbind the power of Hysh from the Wardens. The Enlightener casts Protection of Hysh, followed by overwhelming heat on the Questers. The Calligrave casts the Jaws. And Merciless Blizzard with 2 primal dice, which kills the Celestant Prime. Her final spell is a Mystic Shield on the Wardens. The Jaws deal 9 mortal wounds to the Questers, which takes out half the unit. The Windchargers retreat. Eltharion shoots at the questers and deals 1 wound. The Ballista rolls high and kills the last questers. The Wardens charge the vanquishers. And the other ones charge the Tempesters who stand and shoot, which brings down 5 elves. The Wardens deal 3 damage to the Tempesters and take out the vanquishers. The Tempesters kill a single Warden in combat. The Lumineth Realm-lords complete their battle tactic and score 5 points. Elvish magic breaks the back of the Stormcast army. Merciless blizzard blows the prime back into the skies, while the Wardens clean up the flanks. The Bladelords are avenged by the Ballista, who makes short work of the last of Sigmar's elite in the center of the field. The Stormcast Eternals concede. The game of high aggression does not pay off for the Stormcast. A crucial failed charge from the Grandhammers and a fluffed combat round by the Celestant Prime give the Lumineth the chance to exploit the situation, an opportunity which they gladly take. The Stormcast army is too elite to have much of a backup plan if the odds turn against them. The Lumineth army, on the other hand, has lots of tools in all phases of the game to adapt accordingly. Teclis surely wasn't missed today. Thank you for watching the Realmlords Network.